Cough is a symptom of TB until proven otherwise, especially cough that has lasted for more than 2 weeks or more.
What do you know about tuberculosis? Today being World Tuberculosis Day, come along as we find out.
I'm Dr. Julius Barnabas Gajere. I'm the CEO of this organization, CATS Foundation, which is a TB HIV foundation. So we work basically on TB and HIV control. Tuberculosis is a chronic infection primarily that affects the lungs, primarily, meaning that secondary can affect other parts of the body also. So it is caused by an organism. It's a bacterium, and it is called, the name of the bacterium is tuberculosis, Mycobacterium tuberculosis complex. It is airborne. The air carries it, the organism. So if an infected person, he who is sick, who is having the organism in him, coughs it out, sneezes it out, even speaks it out, the air will pick the organism from that individual that has released it into the air, and then thereby making it comfortable for another person to inhale it. So if someone inhales the air that is carrying that organism from another individual, it will get into the body, the system, through the respiratory system, that is, through the lungs of the individual. The first thing that will occur is cough. The TB microorganism in it, the body will detect it because it knows that there is something in this air that is not supposed to be there. So the first thing the body will do is to try to cough, scent it. So coughing, the coughing reflex we call it, is a defense mechanism. It's an attempt to send back that which is not supposed to be in the lungs that has found its way into the lungs. So when the TB organism is held into the body, it initiates the cough reflex. The body will start coughing. At that point, I think it's dry cough. But by the time the organism settles in the lungs, a lot of defense mechanism processes take place, to check the organism. So with the presence of that, also the cough reflex is also stimulated to bring out that which has occurred in the lungs that's not supposed to remain in the lungs. So basically the first symptom is cough. And this cough, if it is treated, it doesn't go. Because unless we treat the organism, because if we're just treating cough, that's symptomatic treatment. And unless we tackle what is causing the cough, so the person will say that I've been coughing for 2 weeks or more, I've taken all the cough syrups and Septrin and all these other some drugs, and it is not relieving. So while someone is having a cough longer than 2 weeks or longer than 3 weeks and is not relieved, it's not being relieved through medication, then TB. That's the first thing. Then of course, the sweat in the night, even when the weather is cold, they can even wet their bed sheets. Yes, the person is sweating in the night without whether the weather is hot or the weather is cold. So when we have such, it's one of the symptoms of tuberculosis. And of course, there'll be loss of weight. There's low-grade fever, there's loss of weight. Somebody who is sick, their appetite is compromised. And, then you have the cough, you have the fever, you have the loss of weight, you have sweating at night. Basically these are the symptoms. But as the disease progresses, the symptoms become more than this, depending on which other organ again is being affected. Because it settles in the lungs. So what I'm saying takes place in the lungs. So that's the first thing one will experience. But as it lasts longer in the body, and it affects, because it can affect anybody, it can affect the brain, it can affect the bone, it can affect the intestine, it can affect the lymph nodes, in the stomach and all that. So it will now depend on which part. The lung is cough because it is dealing with receiving of air that is. But when you get to let's say bone, for example, there will be severe pain where it is. So at that point, it will now depend on which organ of the body is affected. It is a serious public health disease, because a disease that, or an infection that one cannot do anything to prevent it, that is something that is scary. Like I said, it is the air that carries it. This air that we breathe, we don't see it. Even now that we are talking with you, if I have TB in me, for example, even this talking, it brings out to the organism. Now we are all breathing, but we are not seeing the air. So when you don't see the air, you don't know whether it is contaminated or not. That means everybody stands a risk of getting a TB, so long as it is there in the air that we are breathing. So it's a serious thing that we not. There are some other diseases that we can say you can do something about it so that you don't get, like HIV, for example. You can say stay away, be faithful and all that. But this one, you as an individual, there is nothing you can do, because you will not stop breathing. When one stop breathing, is gone. It's not alive again. So, but what we do there, we make sure that we do what we call cough etiquette, that is cough hygiene. We teach people who are coughing how to cough, so that what is in them, they don't send into the air. Once it has been sent into the air, there is no way. So it's a very big problem. And the prevalence of TB in Nigeria is very, very high. In fact, Nigeria is one of the first 6 countries in the world with the highest number of TB cases, high prevalence of tuberculosis. Over 30-something countries in the world, that TB is quite of public health importance, it's quite severe, it's of concern. Out of these countries, Nigeria is among the first 6 or thereabout of these countries. Okay, and then when we come to Africa, in Africa, of course, we are leading. Nigeria has the highest prevalence of TB in Africa, but in the world, we are within the first 6 or thereabout. I hope we will drop down to somewhere, but all the effort being put together may eventually lead us to get lower than, to improve. So at the moment, it's of concern in Nigeria, because if you take Africa, we are first in Africa. That means that by the time you count a few people, the likelihood of getting somebody with TB is there. What we're doing, the only way to create more awareness, let people, people know that, one, cough is a symptoms of TB until proven otherwise. Especially cough that has lasted for more than 2 weeks or more. And therefore, the key thing is that anybody coughing, no matter how long it is, should go to hospital. Incidentally, the good news is that we do the testing free, we give the drugs free. So anybody coughing, people need to know that, anybody coughing should not treat it at home, go to hospital. That's one of the key thing, create awareness, let people know that TB is a serious disease. It kills even more than even we think malaria can do, So, and cough in itself, we kind of disregard cough. When we are coughing, some will even claim it. I know, is this my catarrh or something? Okay, so because it doesn't come with something more debilitating that is stopping us from doing the work we want to do, that people kind of, that's why they will just walk to the chemist and buy anything, And by the time it is now establishes in the body, then eventually, I didn't mention it, eventually it stays longer in the body, affects so many, even the lungs, even the coughing, you will see blood. Person will start coughing blood. So that is the extreme of it. It has been there for a long time and it is not properly handled. So we create awareness. I think the key thing is to create awareness, letting people know through the media. You have all the media, whether the print media, electronic media, all that. Let people know that this cough that they think it is something not to worry about can cause a lot of problems if it is caused by tuberculosis. So creating awareness, as honestly, is key. Then apart from that, those who are affected already with the disease I've said, treatment is costly. So if you say people should do it from their pocket, then that means that a lot will not be able to treat themselves for TB. And if they're not treating themselves for TB, it means they are spreading it out. They go to any meeting, go to any ceremony, they'll be spreading it out. Even a vehicle, they'll be spreading it out. So the other thing, apart from the awareness, I provided free testing. Test is free. The treatment is free. So that with this, if people are well aware that you get the disease and the guys giving free treatment, free test and treatment, people should not delay reporting to hospitals when they start having cough.
So the free treatment and testing, is it all hospitals or where can be?
In
Can they
fact,
go to?
in fact, in Kaduna State now,
Yeah.
almost every government facility, both all the hospitals in Kaduna State, all the government hospitals in Kaduna State were treating people for TB there. And then the target now again is to make sure that all registered private facilities in Kaduna State also. Already there are a lot of private facilities that we are also treating TB. Wherever people are going to seek for, health interventions, yes, we also make sure TB is also considered there. So that is what is actually going on.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Yes, sir. If you have a prevalent cough for more than 2 weeks, please go to any government hospital. Treatment is free, testing is free. Don't take your health for granted. Remember they say health is wealth. Thank you.